Hello! How are? I'm just applying eczema cream to my clock girlfriend, Margaret. Isn't it, Margaret? Shouldn't you be running along now, Margaret? Margaret has to go and apply more eczema cream. Welcome to Fictitious Events, the lockdown tapes. Let's see what mischief old Boothroyd can get into. Hannah Boothroyd was sat in isolation, thinking about how much better she was than everyone else, including God himself. She thought, nah, that putz ain't got nothing on me, as she gazed at herself in the mirror. She grabbed a nearby paint roller and was about to put her eyebrows on when all of a sudden she heard a fucking tapping at the door. She said to herself, "Oh, for Christ's sake, how am I supposed to gaze upon my beauty in mirror form when I am plagued by these somewhat violent interruptions?" She stomped towards the door like a little kid in a fucking tizzy 'cause he broke his soldiers, and she opened it. There stood on its hind legs was a coffee table, dressed in peasant rags with a human face and a pair of bull testicles hanging out of the speedos. The coffee table got down on one knot and pulled out an engagement ring with the previous owner's blood and sick still dripping off of it. The coffee table cried out, "I have crossed many a land, but never have I gazed upon beauty such as this. Will you be mine?" To which Boothroyd replied, "Get lost, you fucking sad sack slag," and she booted him in the jaw with her man foot, sending him flying backwards onto a conveniently placed bonfire. Boothroyd shut the door on his smouldering corpse and decided to eat a pint of garden soil for luncheon. She washed that down with some water she had collected from the drains, rinsed the fag butts and bugs out of her teeth, and decided she would watch a film to cure her personality-ruining boredness, but as she stuck her DVD in the machine, she confused pressing play with doing backflips, so she tried to press play and accidentally backflipped clean through her conservatory windows, landing her covered in glass and shit. As soon as Boothroyd's buttocks had hit the glass mid-backflip, the impact had sent a rush of wind through her body, causing her to violently shit herself upon landing. There was fucking shit and glass everywhere. A man in a nearby garden started taking photographs. His name was Hyun, like Ian, but with a H. He was snapping Pixaroid in the garden. "Oi, bitch, we're in isolation, don't you know?" cried Hyun. "See here, Hyun," shouted Royd through mouthfuls of shit as she began to eat it as a pick-me-up. "I'll bloody sit in shit and eat shit as much as I want. You can't do shit." "That's a lovely vocabulary coming from a bloke covered in shit," shouted Hyun. "Hyun, Hyun, you've put pushed me too far, Hyun, and I'm a big fan of pushing people too far. But you really done it this time, Hyun. You really drexeled my spivvy. I was going to have rabid hounds chew my leg hair off later, but now your demise, Hyun, shall take precedence. Turns out, Boothroyd was still dizzy from backflipping through her windows like a twat, and Hyun was actually taking a photo of his garden and hadn't actually said anything at all, and he was minding his own business and trying to wonder why Boothroyd had just voluntarily backflipped and shit herself through the window, and was now yelling about enjoying pushing people too far. It was too late. Boothroyd had duct-taped a Ming vase to the end of an arrow and fucking fired it like Tobin Hood straight into Hyun's face, removing it entirely. Oh, sorry, that's Robin Hood. Robin, not Tobin. Anyway, Tobin Hood, Robin Hood. Robin Hood. Robin Hood was... No, Boothroyd! Oh. Anyway, Tobin Hood, Robin Hood, Boothroyd strolled back into the house, thinking about possibly eating her downstairs cistern lid as she had a craving for porcelain, when her phone began to ring. She went to answer it, but got confused with answering phones and backflipping, and instead of answering her phone, she of course backflipped down her stairs through the front door and back out into the garden again. She was incredibly miffed at not having shit herself this time, so she planned to do it later when she was comfy on the sofa. Some popcorn. At least I can let those dogs have a go at my stubble now, Boothroyd cried out. She ran outside to see if there were any small children to punch to pass the time, when all of a sudden her house got confused with just generally being a house and backflips, and it backflipped 7 miles east into the ocean. What the actual fuck? Cried Boothroyd. Tune in next time